You've been taught to see the world as fixed, unchangeable, a stage already set before you stepped upon it. But the truth, whispered by quantum physics and echoed by the mystics, is that reality is far more alive than you've been told. It is not indifferent. It listens. Every thought you hold, every emotion you carry is not silent. It vibrates, it radiates, it broadcasts into the invisible field that surrounds you. And the field, this vast ocean of possibility, responds in kind. The double-slit experiment proved this long ago. That light itself, the foundation of all matter, behaves differently when it is observed. The mere act of looking shapes its path. Do you understand the weight of that? It means reality does not exist independent of you. It bends to the presence of your awareness. You are not a spectator, you are a participant. But here's the paradox. Most people live as if reality is deaf, as if what they think, what they feel, what they imagine has no bearing on what unfolds. They walk through life replaying patterns inherited from the past, unaware that those patterns are already writing the script of tomorrow. Think of two people facing the same storm. One collapses into fear, convinced the darkness will never end. The other stands still, breathing deeply, knowing the storm is also rain, and the rain will feed the earth that gives birth to new life. Same reality, same moment. Two entirely different outcomes. Why? Because reality mirrors the frequency of the observer, and you have been observing unconsciously, letting your emotions run unchecked, letting your attention scatter like shattered glass, not realizing that what you look at expands, not realizing that what you rehearse within becomes what you rehearse without. But something within you has always known. That whisper inside, that tug on your heart. It is the reminder that reality is alive, that it is not happening to you, but through you. What if, right now, you chose to see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as the conductor of resonance? Imagine standing at the edge of the quantum field, every possibility flickering like stars in the night sky. Which ones illuminate into form depends on where you place your gaze, your focus, your belief. Reality listens, not to your wishes alone, but to the frequency behind them. If you say, "I want peace," while vibrating with fear, the field responds not to the words, but to the fear. If you say, "I trust," while your body hums with gratitude, the field reflects trust. This is the beginning of mastery. To realize that life is not echoing back random events, but the vibration you continually embody. The field is not against you. It has only ever been listening, and so the first step is not to control reality, but to tune yourself. To become aware of the broadcast leaving you in every thought, every feeling, every breath. Because the moment you see reality listening is the moment you begin to speak with it. You are not just a body walking through space. You are a signal broadcasting into infinity. Every day you wake up, brush your teeth, drink your coffee, and step into routines that feel ordinary. But beneath that surface rhythm, something extraordinary is happening. You are vibrating. Every cell, every neuron, every hidden thought inside you is producing a frequency. And that frequency is speaking to the universe long before your words ever do. Neuroscience tells us that your brain is never silent. In every moment it is pulsing with electrical patterns, beta when you are alert, alpha when you are calm, theta when you drift between thought and dream. These brainwave states are not random noise, they are the music of your consciousness. They determine how you see, how you feel, and what doors of possibility open or stay closed before you. But the deeper truth is this. Beneath your conscious awareness lies the subconscious, a vast, silent tuning fork that never stops vibrating. It is the keeper of memories you've forgotten, the collector of beliefs you never chose, the echo of voices that told you who you were allowed to be. Most of your frequency is not chosen in the present. It is inherited from the past, and so life reflects it back. The subconscious is not just a private inner world, it is the script handed to the quantum field. If your subconscious hums with scarcity, reality mirrors lack. If it vibrates with unworthiness, the field bends to confirm it, not as punishment, not as cruelty, but as resonance. Reality is matching your signal. Think of two people walking into the same room. One carries an inner frequency of openness and love. They smile, they connect, and the world responds with warmth. The other enters carrying an inner vibration of distrust, fear, or resentment. They cross the same threshold, but doors remain closed, faces turn cold, opportunities slip away. Same room, different frequencies, entirely different realities. This is why affirmations alone rarely work. You can say, "I am abundant" 1,000 times, but if your subconscious is vibrating with fear, the signal is mixed. The universe does not listen to the words, it listens to the vibration beneath them. Here's the awakening. You are not trapped by that hidden frequency. The subconscious can be retuned. Every meditation, every breath, every moment of elevated emotion is a chance to rewrite the song you're broadcasting. Gratitude, awe, and love are not random feelings. They are coherent signals, aligning brain and heart into resonance. And when you shift resonance, reality cannot help but shift with it. Joe Dispenza calls this coherence, the alignment of brain waves and heart rhythms into a unified frequency. It's not just spiritual, it's measurable. Your body becomes a transmitter of order, broadcasting into the field with clarity. And the field, this infinite sea of possibility, reflects it back with precision. So here is the choice. Continue letting the subconscious tune your life on autopilot, or step into awareness, into coherence, into mastery of your inner frequency. Because beneath your daily noise, beneath the chatter of thought, there exists a vibration of self older than memory, deeper than mind. When you begin to hear it, when you begin to shape it, life itself begins to answer differently. The universe has always been listening. The real question is, what have you been broadcasting? Most of the walls you fear are made of smoke, real only because you believe they are. Since childhood, you have been trained to see limits everywhere. Limits of time, limits of money, limits of who you're allowed to be. You were told to be realistic, to play small, to shrink your dreams to fit the world as it is. But here's the paradox. The world as it is only one version, collapsed into form because of what you have chosen to believe. Quantum physics has revealed this hidden truth. A particle is not a particle until it is observed. Before that, it is infinite possibility, waves of potential existing all at once. And in the same way, your life is not a single fixed outcome. It is a field of infinite futures waiting for you to look at them. The moment you place your focus, your belief, your expectation, you collapse one version into being. But here's what no one told you. Your limitations are just as fragile. They exist only because you keep looking at them. You keep feeding them with attention, with emotion, with the story of "this is who I am" or "this is how life works." And just like the double slit experiment, your observation collapses those illusions into form. Think of someone who has always been told they're not creative. Year after year, they repeat it to themselves. They avoid drawing, writing, imagining. And life mirrors the belief. They never see evidence of creativity, so they accept the limitation as truth. But the truth is this: creativity was never gone. It was simply never observed. The moment they pick up a brush, the moment they give attention to possibility, the illusion begins to dissolve. You have been living inside prisons built by attention, but the bars are not iron, they are thought. They are memory. They are unchallenged beliefs echoing from the past. And here's the key. The moment you stop observing those limits, they begin to collapse. Amit Goswami, a pioneer in quantum consciousness, once said that consciousness does not just witness reality, it chooses it. This means that every time you redirect your awareness away from the walls and toward possibility, you are not imagining. You are reprogramming the field. So pause. Ask yourself, what limitations have I been rehearsing? Scarcity, unworthiness, fear. What walls have I mistaken for reality, when in truth they are only possibilities I've been collapsing again and again? Because once you see the illusion for what it is, you no longer have to believe it. You can stop observing the wall and start observing the doorway. You can stop repeating the story of the prisoner and start living as the architect. The field is vast, the potential is infinite, and your limitations, they were never as solid as you thought. Emotion is not the shadow of thought. It is the architect of reality. You've been told that feelings make you weak, that emotion clouds reason, that it's something to hide, to control, to silence. But the truth is the opposite. Emotion is not weakness. It is command. It is the hidden language through which the quantum field responds to you. Every elevated feeling, gratitude, love, awe, joy, acts like a code, a frequency, a signal that ripples outward. And every low vibration, fear, resentment, shame, is like a contract you unconsciously sign, an instruction you send into the field. Reality is not responding to what you say you want, it is responding to what you feel you are. Think about it. Two people face the same event. One loses their job and falls into despair, repeating, "I'll never make it." The other loses their job. But instead of collapsing, they breathe. They choose gratitude for the freedom to create something new, and life answers with opportunities they never expected. Same event. Two emotional frequencies. Two entirely different realities. Neuroscience reveals why. When you feel an elevated emotion, your brain and heart enter coherence. HeartMath Institute has shown that gratitude and love synchronize the rhythms of the heart with the patterns of the brain. In that moment, your body becomes an antenna broadcasting pure order into the field. You are not just imagining possibility, you are radiating it. Joe Dispenza often says, "The elevated emotion is the fuel. Without it, your thoughts remain static, dreams without electricity." But when thought is paired with emotion, the frequency carries weight. The image in your mind fuses with the vibration of your body, and the field listens. This is why wishing for change while feeling unworthy keeps you stuck. It's why saying, "I'm abundant," while vibrating with fear of lack, keeps abundance at a distance. The field is not deceived by words. It is tuned to emotion. Emotion is the true prayer. But here's the power. You are not a prisoner of your feelings. You can choose them. At first it feels impossible. You may say, "How can I feel gratitude when life feels heavy? How can I feel love when my heart is broken?" And yet, the smallest shift matters. Even pausing to notice a breath, to feel the miracle of air filling your lungs, creates coherence. Even choosing to notice the beauty in a single sunset begins to tune your signal. Because emotion is not about pretending, it's about practicing. Every time you elevate your state, even for a moment, you teach your body a new vibration. And like a muscle, it grows stronger. Gratitude becomes easier. Love becomes natural. Awe becomes the baseline of your being, and when that shift happens, reality shifts with it. People respond differently, opportunities appear, synchronicities unfold. Not because the world outside changed first, but because you changed the frequency you were broadcasting. So remember, emotion is not noise. It is the syntax of the universe. And when you master the language of emotion, you stop begging for change and start commanding creation. The shift begins the moment you stop fearing your emotions and start using them as the keys they were always meant to be. You are not the storm of your thoughts. You are the sky that holds them. For most of your life, you have mistaken yourself for your mind. You have believed that you are the voice that never stops speaking. The loop of doubts and fears, the endless commentary echoing inside your skull. But here's the awakening. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. Quantum physics has already shown us this mystery. The famous double slit experiment revealed that light behaves as waves of infinite potential until it is observed. The very act of looking collapses those waves into form, into matter, into reality. Consciousness is not passive, it is creative. And the same principle lives within you. Every time you observe your thoughts, you step into the role of the conscious creator. When you forget, you collapse into the program. The distinction is everything. Think about the last time you were caught in anger. A single trigger, a word, a glance, a memory, and suddenly you were lost inside the storm. The thought carried you, the emotion consumed you, and you reacted without choice. That is unconscious observation, collapsing reality automatically through old patterns of the mind. Now imagine the same moment but with awareness. Instead of being anger, you witness anger. Instead of saying, "I am furious," you notice, "Here is fury moving through me." Instantly, the storm loosens its grip. You stand as the sky, not the lightning. In that space of observation, you reclaim freedom. You can choose to collapse a new outcome. This is the bridge where neuroscience meets spiritual psychology. Brain. Scans reveal that when you observe your thoughts with awareness, activity shifts from the amygdala, the center of fear and reactivity, to the prefrontal cortex, the center of choice, vision, and higher reasoning. Observation rewires the brain. The observer effect is not only quantum, it is human. And when you live as the observer, something extraordinary happens. You stop feeding the old frequencies. You stop unconsciously broadcasting fear, resentment, or doubt. Instead, you begin to notice them, release them, and choose a new vibration. Slowly, your field begins to change. And when your field changes, reality cannot help but follow. Joe Dispenza teaches that the moment you separate from the program, you are no longer the victim of the past, you are the creator of the future. The observer within you is not weak. It is the very force that collapses possibility into form. So pause, breathe, ask yourself, am I the thought or the one who sees it? Am I the memory replaying or the awareness watching it play? The answer shifts everything, because when you awaken as the observer, you step outside the prison of unconscious reaction. You become the sculptor, not the clay, the dreamer, not the dream. And in that shift, you reclaim the power you had all along, the power to collapse reality into the shape of your choosing. The storm of thought will always move, but you are the sky, infinite, unshaken, awake. The future is not waiting for you. It is vibrating right now, calling you to meet it. You've been taught to think of the future as distant, as something you must chase, climb toward, fight for. But in the quantum field, the future is not far away, it is already here. Infinite versions of you already exist. Every possible timeline flickers like stars, waiting to be chosen. The task is not to create the future you desire, but to tune yourself into resonance with it. This is the paradox. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. Your vibration is the bridge, the selector, the magnet. Quantum physics tells Us that potential exists as waves until something draws them into form. Consciousness collapses those waves, not by effort, but by resonance. Your energy, your emotional frequency, determines which reality solidifies around you. Think of a radio. You can sit in silence, surrounded by 100 frequencies moving invisibly through the air. The music already exists, but you will only hear the station you tune into. Reality works the same way. The future you long for, the one who is free, abundant, at peace, is already playing. The question is, are you tuned to its frequency? Visualization is one of the ways you change the dial. Not daydreaming, not wishing, but feeling as if it is already done. When you imagine the future, you stepping into a room with confidence, when you feel the gratitude of already being free, your body begins to shift. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It only knows vibration. And when your body experiences the emotion of the future before it arrives, you become a magnet to that timeline. Joe Dispenza calls this rehearsing the future. By combining mental imagery with elevated emotion, you create a state of coherence. Your heart and brain synchronize, broadcasting a signal that says, "This is who I am." But here's the key. You cannot visit your future self as a stranger. You must begin to live as them now. Identity is the most powerful frequency you carry. If you see yourself as the struggling one, the waiting one, the hoping one, you resonate with struggle, with waiting, with hoping. But the moment you begin to say, "I am the one who already is," you collapse a new reality into form. Consider this. Two people both want abundance. One affirms it daily, but still identifies as broke. They wait for money to prove them abundant. The other begins to embody the identity of someone who trusts, who feels worthy, who carries generosity now. Opportunities find them, not because they begged harder, but because their field aligned with abundance itself. Same desire, different identity, different resonance. Resonance is not about forcing, it's about becoming. It's about practicing the vibration of your future self until it feels natural. Gratitude not for what's coming, but for what already is. Love not as a reward, but as a frequency you carry into every interaction. Confidence not as an outcome, but as your natural state. When you resonate with your future self, you collapse. Distance. The timeline draws near. Synchronicities appear, unexpected calls, chance meetings, sudden opportunities that feel like miracles but are really physics. The field is simply reflecting back the signal you have chosen to embody. So here is the shift. Stop asking, "When will my future arrive?" Instead ask, "What frequency does my future self live in, and how can I embody it now?" Because the future is not waiting for you. It is waiting for you to become it. The only distance between you and the life you desire is the story you believe about yourself. You think the gap between who you are and who you want to be is made of time, or effort, or circumstance, but the truth is, it is made of belief. Belief is the invisible bridge between the self that suffers and the self that awakens, between the one who doubts and the one who creates. Here's the paradox. You will never experience a reality you cannot first believe is possible. The quantum field may hold infinite timelines, but your consciousness can only collapse the ones your belief allows you to touch. Think of the double slit experiment. Light behaves as both a wave and a particle. Possibility dances in infinite directions. But the instant an observer believes, sees, expects, reality bends to match. Your life works the same way. You are both wave and particle, possibility and form. Belief is the act of choosing which version of you comes forward. Psychology confirms it. Your brain is not a camera recording life. It is a filter interpreting it. Through repetition, Your neural pathways form loops of expectation. If you believe you are unlucky, your brain highlights every failure, ignoring the moments grace slipped in. If you believe you are capable, your brain begins to notice doors where once there were only walls. Consider two people facing rejection. One interprets it as proof they are unworthy, carrying shame for weeks. The other sees it as redirection, proof they are being guided elsewhere. Same event, different belief, entirely different reality. This is why repetition matters. The subconscious does not change through logic. It changes through rhythm, words spoken daily, emotions rehearsed until they feel natural. Every affirmation, every visualization, every elevated feeling is not about convincing the universe, it's about rewiring you. About teaching your body to believe what your mind once doubted. But here's where faith enters, not as blind hope, but as frequency. Faith is not waiting for the evidence. Faith is generating the vibration before the evidence. It is walking across the bridge without needing to see the ground beneath every step. Neuroscience shows that when you combine consistent mental rehearsal with emotional conviction, your brain begins to fire in patterns of a reality you have not yet lived. You literally wire your nervous system for a future self before it arrives. Belief is not small. It is not passive. It is the creative act itself. And so you stand in a moment of choice. Will you believe in the limitations of your past or the possibilities of your future? Will you let the echo of yesterday define you or the frequency of tomorrow call you forward? The bridge of belief does not appear before you walk it. It appears as you walk. Step by step, affirmation by affirmation, emotion by emotion, you lay down a pathway that connects your present identity with your future self. And here is the shift. Stop waiting for proof to believe. Begin believing so deeply that proof has no choice but to appear. Because the distance was never measured in miles or years. It was always measured in conviction. The bridge is belief. And the moment you step onto it, you collapse the gap between who you were and who you were always meant to be. The moment you release control is the moment reality finally has room to move. You have been taught that control is safety. That if you plan enough, think enough, push enough, you can bend life into order. But here's the truth. Control is the ego's disguise for fear, and fear collapses possibilities into repetition. In quantum physics, particles only choose a path when observed. The tighter your grip, the narrower the options. But when you release, when you allow the wave of possibility to remain open, the field itself arranges in ways your mind could never predict. Control narrows, surrender expands. Think of water. The river does not fight to reach the ocean. It yields. It flows. It bends around rocks and cliffs, knowing it is always carried. Your life is no different. The more you fight the current, the more exhausted you become. But the instant you release, you discover the river was always carrying you home. Consider this. Two people lose a job. One spirals into panic, gripping tighter, sending out desperate applications from a state of fear. The other breathes, waits, listens, trusting there may be something greater in motion. And then, unexpectedly, an opportunity arises that aligns perfectly with their passion. Same event, two outcomes, one grasping, one surrendering. Spiritual teachers call this trust. Neuroscience calls it coherence. Joe Dispenza shows that when your heart and brain enter alignment, when you release resistance, the body generates a field measurable outside of you. And this field is magnetic. It pulls reality toward you instead of pushing it away. You see, control is a frequency of scarcity. It says, if I don't hold on, I will lose everything. But surrender is the frequency of abundance. It whispers, I don't need to force, because what is mine is already aligned. This doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean apathy. Surrender is not weakness. It is power in its purest form. It is choosing to act from inspiration, not desperation. To listen for alignment instead of lunging from fear. To allow yourself to be a vessel, not the architect of every detail. And here's the paradox. The less you grasp, the more comes to you. The moment you stop demanding how and when, the quantum field rearranges with precision beyond imagination. You become not the puppet master, but the dance partner of life itself. So breathe. Release the grip. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the constant need to predict, because the field is not waiting for your control. It is waiting for your trust. The shift is this. You are not here to force. You are here to flow, to surrender into the current of the quantum, knowing it carries you exactly where you need to be. And the moment you surrender, you stop living as a prisoner of fear, and you begin living as a vessel of creation. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. For so long, you've believed manifestation is something you do. A practice, a ritual, a visualization you visit in stolen moments of silence. But the truth is deeper. Transformation is not a single act. It is a state of being. It is the frequency you carry into every breath, every choice, every heartbeat. Quantum physics tells us that matter does not organize first. Energy does. The double slit experiment revealed this long ago. Observation, consciousness itself, collapses potential into reality, which means your life is not shaped by what you occasionally wish for, but by the frequency you repeatedly embody. Think of it this way. Two people can walk into the same room. One is filled with quiet confidence, open-hearted presence, and coherence between thought and emotion. The other is knotted in fear, self-doubt, and resistance. They meet the same people, stand in the same air, breathe the same oxygen, yet their realities are entirely different. One attracts resonance, the other repels it, not because of luck, but because of frequency. Living as the frequency means you stop waiting for the future you desire, and you begin carrying its signal now. You stop saying, "When I have it, I will feel it." Instead, you say, "Because I feel it, I already have it." Neuroscience shows us this is not imagination. Repeated thought and feeling build neural pathways, and the body learns to live as if the vision were already here. Joe Dispenza calls this coherence, the alignment of mind and heart into a signal so strong the field itself begins to rearrange in your favor. But here's the subtle secret. It is not about perfection. It is about practice. Living as the frequency is not pretending fear will never arise. It is choosing again, moment by moment, to return to alignment. When anger rises, you breathe and recenter. When doubt whispers, you choose the higher thought. When life bends, you bend with it, without losing your core vibration. This is the shift from unconscious reaction to conscious creation, from being at the mercy of circumstance to realizing circumstance is the mirror of your state. You are no longer chasing results, you are radiating them. So imagine this. You wake tomorrow not as a seeker, but as one already aligned. You drink your coffee not in a rush, but with presence. You step into your work not in fear, but in service. You enter relationships not for validation, but for resonance. This is living as the frequency, not someday, but today. Because the quantum field does not respond to the someday you, it responds to the now you. And when your now reflects the frequency of your vision, reality has no choice but to align. The Maui shift is this: you are not becoming, you already are. You are not reaching, you are radiating. You are not waiting, you are living. And when you live as the frequency, the field around you bends, coheres, and reflects the truth you have finally chosen to embody.